Brendan, do you want to announce how we're going to do this? Yeah, you did already. Okay. Good morning, everyone. I want to, first of all, just acknowledge the folks that are up here. We have NYPD Chief of Detectives, Joseph Kenny. We have the Homeland Security Investigations New York Special Agent in Charge, Ricky Patel. We have my Bureau Chief, Mary Lowenberg, Section Chief of Major Narcotics, Kieran Linehan, and we have the lead ADA on the case of all of these weapons that you see in front of you, Candace Smith. We are here today once again because we are getting guns off the street in the borough of Queens County. In the last 6 years of my administration and in close collaboration with the NYPD, we successfully conducted 6 large-scale gang takedowns. We have indicted and apprehended scores of gang members for violent crimes. We have done gun buybacks, getting almost 700 guns off the street. That is the main goal here. We have taken 160 untraceable ghost gun weapons off the street. And that's what we need to do. From every corner of this borough to every neighborhood to every school to all of the places that we can find weapons and guns, the NYPD, us, Homeland Security, are going in, finding the guns, first of all, and then getting them off the street. And so the joint collaboration of all of the agencies working together has made headway in this borough and in this city. So I'd like to thank everyone for the work that they have put into this. Every gun we get off the street is one less gun that's in the hands of a kid or in the hands of a defendant, in the hands of someone who could kill someone and use them for other crimes, by the way, besides shooting or besides just threatening. In that respect today, we are here to announce a 194-count indictment against 2 defendants, Teddy Gaston, a.k.a. J.D. Yikes, and Jezreel Huston. They worked in concert. And the charges include criminal possession of a firearm, criminal sale of a firearm in the first degree, criminal possession of a weapon, criminal sale of a controlled substance, and conspiracy on other crimes. Both face 25 years in prison for the sale of the weapons, over 10 guns. We allege that Gaston and Huston acted in concert to traffic illegal weapons into Queens County. Gaston, in addition, is charged with peddling narcotics. According to the indictment, defendant Huston, who is from Macon, Georgia, procured weapons down south. He transported them up to Queens County. It is the definition of the iron pipeline. It is those that buy guns in the states in the south that are legal to buy, and they bring them up the east coast of the United States, and they sell them to our children here in Queens County and in the city of New York. At least 2 of these guns that were seized were part of an operation, as part of this operation, have been linked to multiple shooting incidents in Georgia and in Maryland. And one of the guns that was reported stolen by a Georgia County Sheriff's Office. Those guns and these guns, the 77 that you see on the table, will never be used by anyone again. Defendant Gaston sold the gun in Queens County in southeast Queens. Namely, he sold them in Rosedale, in the McDonald's parking lot in Rosedale. In addition to the guns, we allege that Gaston, the Queens guy, procured and sold the illegal narcotics, namely fentanyl and cocaine. The prices for these weapons ranged everywhere from $600 to $3,000. The apprehension of these 2 defendants comes on the heels of a 6-month joint investigation. From start to finish, this investigation was 6 months long, and that netted 77 guns that are now off the street. And that was a joint investigation by my office, by the New York City Police Department, and by Homeland Security Investigations. The investigation started in March of 25, based on intelligence gathered by the NYPD. It included, this was real old-fashioned hard police work. It included 8 undercover buys. 8 undercover buys, which means a police officer has to walk into danger having no idea what they're being met with on the other end of this sale, put themselves at risk, walk into whatever is in front of them, and buy these guns and do it undercover, which puts them in enormous danger, which puts the city in a much better position. The controlled buys were carried out between April 7th and August 29th. Most of the transactions took place at a McDonald's parking lot in Rosedale. On the first occasion, Defendant Gaston met the undercover officer at the McDonald's parking lot, said that the guns were around the corner, drove to 135th Street in Rosedale. Gaston gave the officer his keys as collateral with a knapsack, which he then gave to the undercover officer. The knapsack that he gave to the undercover officer contained 6 9mm handguns. One was defaced. Five of them contained high-capacity magazines. On another occasion, Gaston and Huston were observed on video surveillance with a red suitcase a short distance away from the McDonald's restaurant. The defendants could be seen. They placed the suitcase into the truck of Gaston's vehicle, drive to the McDonald's parking lot. So they meet up first, the two defendants, go to the McDonald's parking lot. In the McDonald's parking lot, they come across the undercover. Gaston places the suitcase into the officer's vehicle, entered the front passenger of the seat, and handed the officer a bag also of 98 fentanyl pills in exchange for $9,400. Those are the additional charges for the narcotics. The suitcase contained 8 firearms, including 1 assault rifle and 1 ghost gun, with which was capable of turning it into a machine gun. Each of the firearms that are laid out before you has the potential to cause untold danger, and each now represents a potential tragedy that was averted. As a result, in front of you is 77 firearms, including 12 assault weapons and 1 ghost gun. As I stated before, the ghost gun was sold with a switch capable of turning the firearm into a machine gun. 98 fentanyl pills, 100 grams of cocaine, multiple rounds of ammunition, and high-capacity magazines. I really would like to take a moment to thank the partners here, including NYPD, the JFK Task Force, Homeland Security Investigations, as well as the Suffolk County Police Department. This was a joint effort. We all know how important it is to get the guns off the street. And again, I note, because you can't say it enough, for every gun that we recover is a gun that is not in the street, being used against someone or being used in another crime. I would like to now take a moment to hand over the podium to Chief Kenny, Chief of Detectives of the NYPD.
Thank you, Madam DA. I'm going to reiterate some of the facts that DA Katz spoke about. Good morning. Today we are announcing charges against 2 individuals who trafficked an enormous amount of dangerous guns, ammunition, and narcotics across state lines. They were brought to Queens to be sold as for profit. Teddy Gaston and Jerizelle Houston worked hand in hand to create this dangerous pipeline and put New Yorkers at risk. These weren't just any type of firearms off for sale. Of the 77 total rifles, pistols, and revolvers, 12 were deadly assault weapons, and 1 was an untraceable ghost gun. High-capacity magazines were also recovered. From forensic testing, we learned that several of these firearms have been used in shootings in the state of Maryland and Georgia, shootings and shots-fired incidents that involved multiple victims. These defendants conspired to bring guns, fentanyl, and 100 grams of cocaine to New York City by hiding them in suitcases and backpacks. Over the course of this 6-month investigation, brave undercover detectives repeatedly put themselves in harm's way to purchase these guns and drugs from these 2 traffickers. These officers conducted 8 total buys with defendant Gaston, resulting in the purchase of 59 firearms, ammunition, cocaine, and fentanyl. Defendant Houston participated in 6 of these 8 sales, involving him in the sale of 50 firearms. All of these transactions took place in a parking lot in Rosedale, Queens, in broad daylight. At the time of their arrest, these 2 firearms dealers were found to be in possession of an additional 18 firearms. I cannot stress enough how critical the work of these undercover detectives is, not only to this case, but to the NYPD's public safety mission. Teddy Gaston is no stranger to the New York City Police Department, having been arrested previously on charges of rape, robbery, and felony narcotics sales. Our message today is clear. If you sell illegal drugs on our streets, if you put New Yorkers at risk, we will stop at nothing, and we will find you, and we will bring you to justice. I want to thank NYPD Commissioner Jessica Tisch for her leadership and for always supporting our work. I would like to thank Queens District Attorney Melinda Katz and her team for their expertise and their partnership, and I would like to thank our federal law enforcement partners at HSI, who played an instrumental role in dismantling this pipeline. This HSI NYPD task force is one of several task forces making New York City safer every day. Our collaboration is making a difference. And finally, to all the investigators and their supervisors, both NYPD and HSI, your drive and determination to ensure the safety of millions of New Yorkers cannot be understated. You put your lives on the line every day, and it's keeping all New Yorkers safe. Thank you, and I'll pass it off to Ricky.
Thank you, Chief Kenny, and thank you, District Attorney Katz. Good morning, everyone. My name is Ricky Patel. I'm the Special Agent in charge for Homeland Security Investigations here in New York. It is an honor to be here today with my esteemed colleagues. As you've just heard, this HSI NYPD-led task force investigation dismantled an alleged gun and drug trafficking pipeline that spanned multiple states, involving firearms from Georgia into southeast Queens, while pushing fentanyl and cocaine into our communities. These defendants are accused of targeting our communities in plain sight, even in a fast food parking lot. But we were there first, and we shut them down. The results speak for themselves. Cocaine, deadly amounts of fentanyl, and 77 illegal firearms, including 12 assault weapons and a ghost gun, were seized because of this investigation, as obviously laid out in front of you. I can't stress enough how important this is. We saved lives. The investigative team that worked on this tirelessly for 6 months saved lives. Disrupting this pipeline cuts off an alleged ready supply of guns and drugs into our communities, reduces the likelihood of violence and overdose, and gives families, schools, and small businesses the safety and stability they deserve. Each illegal firearm seized is a trigger pull that never happened. Each pill seized is a potential tragedy that is averted. Law enforcement partnerships protect neighborhoods. Law enforcement partnerships protect livelihoods. When federal, state, and local agencies move as one, traffickers lose. This work is arduous and unrelenting. HSI special agents and our vital task force officers dedicate countless hours, sleepless nights, and early mornings, following leads, analyzing evidence, coordinating operations, and building cases that stand up in court. Relentless work, real results, one team, one mission, public safety. I would like to thank our invaluable partners at the NYPD again and the Queens District Attorney's Office under the leadership of District Attorney Katz. This couldn't have been done without our collective teamwork, and I'm honored to be here today and for the protection of New Yorkers. Thank you.
Do some on topic on this.
You know, before I take on topic, it occurred to me as Homeland Security investigator, special agent in charge was speaking. I've been doing this 6 years now, and we've taken a lot of gang members down, a lot of guns off the street. And what occurs to me as the special agent was talking was that, yeah, we saved a lot of lives today, but what is unfortunate is that we'll never be able to quantify them. And we are trying to get the guns off the street before we have to quantify the murders and the shootings. And so I would love to be able to quantify how many lives are saved by the guns being taken off the street, but I think your pictures and your video of it will probably say it all. So, questions?
DA Katz, how did law enforcement first become aware of this operation, and did Gaston and Huston, how did they advertise this operation, that they were doing business and had guns for sale?
So the NYPD investigator in charge of this case was a former narcotics officer, and he received confidential information that these sales were taking place in South Queens.
Next one.
We're good?
Thanks. We'll do off topic on yesterday's.
Okay, so can we just have a second to switch out?
Yep.
All right, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for all the work that you do. All right, thank you.
Chief.
And if Sean can come up, that'd be great. We're good. This is Sean. I'm sorry. This is the executive over violent crime enterprise and also homicide that has joined us here today, Sean Clark. And I just wanted to introduce all of you to him. Last night, as you know, Jamil McCriff was arraigned and remanded on a criminal complaint charging him with multiple counts of first-degree murder. The murder that happened in Belrose on 254th Street, the double homicide, was a brutal push-in home invasion. Happened on a Monday afternoon in the middle of the day at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. This defendant intentionally killed two homeowners during the course of a burglary, a robberies, kidnapping, and an arson. The male victim died, as you know, due to multiple stab wounds to his torso. The female victim suffered a fractured larynx and was badly burned and inhaled soot. This happened on Monday, and I have to tell you, the expertise of the NYPD and our office that went in to catching this guy, making sure we found him, the NYPD using all of its resources to make sure that our streets in the city of New York were safer and to get the suspect into custody was an amazing collaboration. And this happened on Monday, and by Wednesday evening, this defendant was in custody, and last night he was arraigned on murder one. I thank all the members of the NYPD and the members of my office and the public, by the way, for helping out in making sure that we have the suspect in custody. And I'll be able to take any questions that I can answer. As you know, this is an investigation, and there's many things that we will announce at a later date after the indictment.
Hi, DA and Detective Henning. If either one of you could detail some of the things in the complaint, including the defendant's confession that he had killed them and he had molested them.
Do you want to answer that?
Sure. Good morning, everyone. So, yes, he did indicate some of those things, as you just indicated, when he was arrested. The things that we can corroborate is that he did kill them. That is quite clear from the evidence. With respect to other things he said, the investigation is ongoing, and we'll know more once the toxicology is completed on the autopsy.
Now, I know that authorities had said that he was going door to door looking for phones to be charged. Is there any reason? I mean, this was random. I mean, this couple was chosen at random.
This is what we know so far. We believe the couple was chosen at random. We know that he knocked on at least one other door, asked for his phone to be charged. He was denied access to that home. And then we know that he went to this home on 254th Street, knocked on the door, or saw the person in the backyard, the victim in the backyard. There was some, engagement in the backyard. And that's really all we know at this moment. Again, once the indictment happens and this investigation is further down the road, we'll be able to answer more details.
Katz, if we can just circle back to McGriff's allegations against the victims. He also mentioned that as a child he lived in the area. Is that being investigated? And in total, are his allegations being further investigated?
All aspects of this case are being investigated right now. Let's remember it happened on Monday. By Wednesday, we caught Mr. McGriff, and by the next day, he was arraigned on a complaint. All of this will come out in the investigation. Right now, we know a few things. We know he pushed his way into the house. We know that the victims were murdered. We know, or we allege in the complaint, that there was burglaries, robberies, kidnappings, and arson. We also have in the complaint, as alleged, that he went to Macy's. He used the male victim's credit card to buy $500 worth of merchandise at Macy's. He also used his reward card, the defendant's reward card, in order to make those purchases or to add to his reward card. We also know that he turned in the phones at a pawn shop of the victims. Both of the phones, he turned them in for cash at the victim's phones. That was in Manhattan, I believe. We also know that he traveled the city. He went from here to the Bronx to Manhattan. He went to movies. He bought clothes at Macy's, all on the victim's card. And that's the facts that we know so far.
One more.
So we have the ability to put out messages to every department cell phone. So in real time, we were getting information about his credit card usage, and then we would dispatch teams to that location. So in the instance where he used the credit card to go to the movies, we dispatched detectives immediately to that theater. We were able to obtain video images of exactly what he was wearing. We were able to broadcast that to every police officer in New York City. A picture of what exactly he was wearing at the time was a very distinctive outfit, white hoodie, white pants, with New York City written across the hoodie. Once officers were armed with that information, a group of NYPD police officers that are assigned to the Times Square pickpocket team, they saw him in the area. They were able to contact 2 uniformed officers to assist them in the apprehension, and that's how he was caught.
Was there any resistance?
No. Like I said, at the time he was approached by 5 police officers. As we know, he's 6'3", 250 pounds, but he didn't put up any fight.
One more, Channel 2. Prior history, criminal history for this particular person?
So as the prosecutors, we don't talk about the history, but I think as you see from the reports on it and as it's public information, the facts speak for themselves on his history.
But he had been paroled, correct? He was out on parole.
He was, yes, out on parole.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Do you want to?